Good morning. I'm going to jump right in today with the title and the blurb. The title is Enemies of Truth, Perverters of Justice. The blurb, yesterday, spending a good deal of my time listening to Frank O'Collins of the University of Ucadia, I received even more understanding about the Illuminati, the beast, and the false prophet from a historical perspective. There's so much to learn. No matter how much I think I know, it seems more and more is being revealed. Perhaps, unlike many, I want to know, even if it does seem overwhelming at times. Could 2012 be the year of the greatest awakening? It might be, if Mr. O'Collins is right, that the day of judgment is December the 21st to the 25th, 2011. Then I provide the link to the University of Acadia Talk Shoe website where you can actually listen to a whole bunch of downloads of his weekly Wednesday 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time webcast. It's a call-in show, talk show, 2 hours each Wednesday night. Mr. O'Collins, I believe, is from Australia and perhaps in Australia, although sometimes I had the impression that he was actually in the United States. But I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure he is Australian. And what he shares is a wealth of information that I was hearing. Much of it I was hearing for the very first time yesterday, that I had never learned or heard such things as he was saying. Now, what prompted me to go there is yesterday I made reference to a YouTube video. It was actually 23 minutes long that I had listened to the night before, and I went back yesterday and I listened to it not once but 2 more times before I even Googled the University of Ucadia and found the website that I'm posting at the description on YouTube of this talk today. He is very clear and provides left brain analytical reasons why the Day of Judgment is this month, toward the end of the month, toward Christmas. He names the 21st, but he himself is not saying that on the 22nd you're going to have ample evidence that the Day of Judgment actually occurred. He like me is now dealing with a window, but his is a much narrower window than I'm willing to put my neck out for. I mean, I was convinced that major things would happen on the 28th of October of this year, and then on 11/11, I thought sure that there'd be some major breakthroughs on that date. And what I think is happening, and it's my thought, it's my guess, if you will, is there are things happening on those dates. But what's happening is mostly in the 4th and 5th dimensions and the higher dimensions, and they're not breaking through immediately yet on the 3rd dimensional plane of our experience or experiential reality. One of the things that Frank insisted, and I heard him say over and over again, well, maybe it's because I listened to the same video 3 times, I don't know. I know he said it in that video. I can't remember if he said it in other places as well. But what he said was the Illuminati, or the powers that be, number one, they have been more warned that their day of judgment, their day of reckoning is at hand and coming quickly than any other peoples on the planet, perhaps in history. They have received ample warning. He doesn't say from extraterrestrials or, well, I think he did say from the angelic realm. The angelic realm has informed them that they have to turn around, or otherwise they're going to be taken out. I'm not one to advocate the taking out of anyone, yet I have been for the past 2 days now, binding and loosing these people that are the enemies of truth and the perverters of justice around the planet. These are people that are guilty of war crimes and crimes against humanity, crimes against their oaths of office, crimes against everything that's good and decent, everything that would allow for peace to break out all over the planet and the celebration of freedom for everybody. These are the people that stand in the way. And Frank is saying their time is up. He's basically indicating to them, if they're listening, that the handwriting is on the wall. You are weighed in the balances and found wanting, as in the vision of the handwriting on the wall from the book of Daniel in Nebuchadnezzar's time in Babylon, or what is modern day Iraq. Oh, that was all right. Yeah. When I said Iraq, I immediately jumped to Iran, which was ancient Persia, of course, and where Zoroastrianism actually originated. And I finished reading David Wilcox's book in the morning yesterday before I jumped to Franco Collins' materials. And he has some stuff really interesting. The end of his book was worth the whole book. I mean, I actually read it from the beginning to the end. 3/4 of the book at least was really, really dry. But the end of that book, it was the most exciting part of the whole book. And so source field investigations is something that I guess I need to recommend, since I did complete it yesterday morning. It took me almost 3 weeks to get through that book. Well, yeah, pretty close to 3 weeks, since it was loaned to me by Claudia. Anyway, it's an interesting part of the world, and it's an interesting time that we're living in. I am not going to claim to you that I know how everything is going to unfold. And I don't think that Frank is actually doing that either. I mean, there's all sorts of disclaimers built into what he's sharing. And there needs to be, because I don't think anybody on the planet, any human being certainly on the planet, knows exactly the time, exactly the how. But we all, I think, many of us that are in this thing of trying to help the awakening process, of lending our support to the awakening, we know that something is at hand. Something major is on the threshold of breaking through in three-dimensional reality, so that humans on the planet are going to know. We're just going to know. It's a time of learning new things. And I had the idea, if indeed the day of judgment is this month, toward the end of this month, just in a couple of more weeks, if that is true, a couple more weeks, one more week, if that is true, 2012 will be a time of the greatest educational thrust in humanity's history, as the doors that have been kept shut on purpose will be opened, and many disclosures, not just of ET involvement and presence, not just of the UFO and cover up and things like that. That's one aspect of disclosure, perhaps. But even the greater aspect of disclosure will be the true history of how things have been working being revealed. This is the quantum leap is going to require that. Humanity is going to have to know how the religions were formed, for example, and what and how they were distorted, how these enemies of truth and perverters of justice worked. I mean, Frank talked about the Holy Roman Empire under Charlemagne as being the historical foundation for the Roman law that we're experiencing today, and how the justifications have been made in that law where the church owns everything because people have no right to own property. And there are many of you that are writing to me and saying, get over the property issues, get over that. We can't own anything, which of course is a Native American perspective, and perhaps an indigenous or an indigenous perspective whereby these I don't want to call them gypsies, but these nomadic cultures didn't even seek a place of permanence. They were wanderers. And in a sense, that is a tremendous image of the human journey, because we as souls, from the soul perspective, are wanderers. We find no permanent place in physical reality. But I don't think that's the intent of our soul forever and ever. Maybe it is, but I really think that one of the lessons that we're learning is we're grounding the spiritual into the material world. And that requires time, space, but place, a home, an identity. I really believe that that's what this whole journey is about. Maybe I'm wrong. But in my heart, when I'm feeling most connected, in the periods of meditation, or sometimes when spirit just breaks through to me in my daily routine, there are these impressions that I get that there is really purpose. It's not imagined. It's not just something that, has been accidental and random. It's very on purpose. It's ripe with meaning of what this is all about, and we're going to see that. That's why I say that perhaps 2012 will be the year of education, the year of awakening, the year of revealing the truth that has been hidden from us for such a long time, when the perversions of justice are going to be righted, as in them trying to steal my home. But again, it's just such a small piece of the whole thing. It means the most to me because it involves me. But I'm well aware that it's going on a very wide scale. Somebody from, I believe, Hungary wrote yesterday and say it's happening here in Europe too. It's not just in the United States. It's happening over here too, where people are losing their homes. People are being imprisoned, in some cases being killed. There was a report, not a report really, but a question: was Benjamin Fulford kidnapped by a CIA-like operative group yesterday on the 13th? I don't know if that's true. I haven't seen anything else on it today. It was just a blurb. He was supposed to have shown up for one of his telecasts and didn't show up. And the speculation was that he had been kidnapped. We don't know if that's true or not. And I say things lots of times when I give reports, like I reported that someone had said that I had read something about 30% was going to disappear. And somebody asked, is that 30% of the dark forces or the total human population? I didn't say that 30% of the world's people are going to disappear, or even 30% of the dark. I suggest that perhaps what needs to disappear is maybe 1%, or even a little bit less than 1% of the people that are in control. The control structure of the planet needs to be taken down. One way or another, we will not move into the enlightened era as long as that control structure remains intact. It must be dissolved, disintegrated. We need to lay the axe at the root of that problem because that is what has kept the earth in darkness and kept man, inhumanity to man, operational. Because we are loving beings, folks. In our heart, in the deepest part of our being, we are created as lovers. And I don't mean that in a sexual sense, I mean that in a spiritual sense. We love each other. We are so connected to one another. This is the reality. This is the reality even of those, and Frank points that out, even these people that hold this dark power and this control and this tyranny, and have been running this tyranny for centuries, if not millennia, but at least for centuries. They have been running this tyranny against the human soul, but it has been for our awakening, and they are still our brothers and sisters. That is so important for us to see. There is no separation, although there is an experiential separation that is playing out in this divine drama, this divine human drama, this dance between the spiritual and the physical that's happening on planet Earth. And I suppose it's part of a process that's happening in other places in the cosmos. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. All I know is that here is where my consciousness is focused, and where most of us, this is where our consciousness is focused. We're in a time of great change, and truth and justice will prevail. I'm absolutely convinced of it. The timetable and the how, it's playing out, and I don't know. I don't know the answers, but I know what resonates with me and what doesn't, and it resonates with me a great deal that we are in a time when truth and justice are being made manifest as never before, and the powers of darkness, the Illuminati, the beast and the false prophet, they will not be able to continue their reign of terror, the reign of terror on terror. They won't be able to continue that. Anyway, I've rambled long enough for today. I thank you for listening once again, and I love each of you, and I thank you for listening and for sharing my videos with your friends. I'm getting a lot of new subscribers on YouTube especially, but new friends on Facebook as well. Bless you. Namaste.